back to Naughty Business English podcast, brought to you by the 13th Dance. I'm your host, Lidiia. Today we are opening up a topic that happens all the time in the corporate world, but it's rarely discussed in standard English. Trademark battles, legal intimidation, and small business bullying. According to a recent report by Bristol 24/7, a small independent baking experience venue in Bristol, run by two sisters, has been hit with nearly £10,000 in legal fees. Why? Because a massive national competitor is trying to stop them from using everyday words like bake and Bristol, and even demanding they change the colors of their venue walls. This story is full of practical legal and business vocabulary that every professional needs. Terms like intellectual property, trademark infringement, passing off, and legal precedent. By the end of this episode, you will understand how corporate law can be used as an aggressive competitive tool, and you'll master 10 high-value English business vocabulary words. Let's dive into the story. So, let's look at what happened in Bedminster, Bristol. In 2025, two sisters, including co-founder Alicia Campbell, opened a small local business called Bake It Bristol. It's a venue where guests come together to participate in fun baking competitions. However, a large national company, the Big Bakes, owned by Frank and Cho Limited, began using aggressive legal tactics against them. The larger competitor filed intellectual property complaints, which caused Bake It Bristol's Instagram account to be suddenly suspended, their online ads to be taken down, and their event customer reviews to be removed from social media platforms. This brings us to our first key business concept, intellectual property, or IP. Intellectual property refers to creations of the human mind protected by law, such as inventions, brand names, logos, designs, and artistic works. The lawyer, acting for the big national chain, claimed that the small Bristol venue was guilty of trademark infringement and passing off. Trademark infringement happens when someone uses a registered brand name, logo, or mark without permission, causing confusion for customers. Passing off, which is a standard phrase in UK business law, is the legal practice of making your business or product look so similar to competitors that customers are tricked into thinking it is the competitor's brand. But here is where the story gets controversial. The demands made by the big national company's lawyers were astonishing. They issued a list of 10 strict demands. Among them, they demanded that the small Bristol business, first, completely stop using the words bake, bakes, or bacon alongside any geographic location. Second, change their interior design colors so they contain no peach, salmon, pink, orange, blue, or teal, and no shade of white or cream. Third, change the number of baking stations in their room to a number other than 12. Co-founder Alicia Campbell described these demands as completely absurd, stating, "They asked us to change the number of tables in our own venue. That is when we stopped believing this was about a name." This behavior is a classic example of corporate bullying or aggressive litigation. To litigate means to take legal action or go to court to settle a disagreement. When big corporations use expensive lawyers to force small competitors into bankruptcy through legal costs, it is often called predatory litigation. So far, the small Bristol business has paid almost £10,000 in legal costs just to protect itself. However, the sisters are not staying passive. They have filed their own trademarks and now formally challenging the competitor's trademark at the official Intellectual Property Office. To challenge a trademark means to formally dispute its validity in court or before a regulatory authority. Furthermore, Alicia pointed out the hypocrisy of the large chain. While accusing the small shop of trademark issues, the large competitor's own website advertises their events as bake-off session, using a registered trademark that actually belongs to the BBC and Love Productions. The local Bristol community has rallied behind the small business, sending supportive messages and standing against corporate intimidation. Let's summarize 10 key legal and business terms from today's case. Intellectual property. Legal rights protecting creative works, brand names, designs, or inventions. For example, the company spent millions protecting its intellectual property. Trademark infringement. Unauthorized use of a registered brand name, logo, or symbol. Using a similar logo led to a lawsuit over trademark infringement. Passing off. The illegal practice of misrepresenting goods, services as those of another brand. The small cafe was accused of passing off its coffee as a premium brand. Litigation or to litigate. The process of taking legal action in court. Avoid long litigation by settling the business dispute early. To suspend or suspension. To temporarily prevent an account, service, or activity from operating. Their social media account was suspended following the legal complaints. Absurd. Completely unreasonable, illogical, or ridiculous. The competitor made absurd demands about our interior colors. To challenge. To formally dispute or contest the legality or truth of something. We hired lawyers to challenge the opponent's patent application. Hypocrisy. Claiming to have moral standards or rules to which one's own behavior does not conform. It was pure hypocrisy to accuse us while they violated another trademark. Realign or rebrand. To change the corporate identity, name, or strategy of a business. Faced with legal pressure, the owners were forced to rebrand. Legal fees. The financial cost paid to lawyers and legal teams for representation. Small businesses often struggle to cover unexpected legal fees. Understanding legal terminology gives you a massive advantage when reading international business news, protecting your own projects, or negotiating contracts in English. Here is your listener challenge for this week. Choose 2 words from today's lesson. I personally recommend you choose intellectual property and challenge. And write 2 practice sentences about your work, industry, or a business scenario. Read your sentences out loud to practice natural rhythm, clear pauses, and stress. And thank you so much for listening to Not Your Business English podcast, brought to you by the 13th Stance. Do not forget to subscribe to our channel here on YouTube, add us to your YouTube Music podcast library, and check the description in the header of the channel for our other social media. And I'm Lidiia from the 13th Stance, and I hope to see you next time, next Saturday. Bye bye.